you should be able to see it on your page or on my page any minute now, and then you can start a watch party, or you can share it on your page. There we go. Okay, so it is on my page now. I don't know if you can see it yet.
Let's see. Ah, yes.
Yep. So you can go to your page and you can either search for Heart Work with Keva and do a watch party that way, or you can just share it to your page. So that way people on your network can see it also.
Okay.
And then once you've shared it, we can get this party started.
Okay, great.
There we go. I'm trying to get a good view of my yoga doll babies back there. You see my yoga dolls back there?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask if they were. I was thinking they were regular dolls, but
One
I
of
didn't
them
like
is,
the
one or
pose.
two are regular dolls, but a couple of them, they have the the movements. You can pose them like little yoga poses.
Oh, I see the one in the yellow, the little top.
Yeah, ain't she cute? But anyway, okay, you shared it yet?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, I think it's 8:30, so we can go ahead and get started. Hey, honey child, it is Toya Moore coming live from Facebook every Thursday. My folks know that every Thursday at 8:30, I do a heart work video. And heart work is like homework for the heart, really. It's a way for us as Black and Indigenous people of color, women, whomever, to be able to come and talk about all the things that may or may not be weighing heavy on us and how we can get through the getting through. So I appreciate all of my people for coming on and joining. Um, I want to, well, I started this back in November. And as I was doing it by myself, I thought, I'm pretty cool, but I really got some dope ass friends. And I really wanted this time to highlight and spotlight all of my dope ass friends and the dope things that we are doing in the community. I think it's very important that we know that there are people out there that look like you and me that are providing goodness and wellness programs for the people. So without further ado, another one of my dope ass friends who's out in the community doing dope ass things is my sister from another mister, my homegirl, Keva Price. Hey!
Thank you for having me on your
Thank
part.
you.
Yes, yes.
Well, welcome to Heart Work. For the people who don't know who you are and what Black Girl Magic you sprinkling all over the place, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, again, my name is Keva Price. I am a physical therapist. I work in a outpatient rehab setting clinic, and I'm also a Pilates instructor. I teach at a few studios, and I also teach my own sort of private classes as well. And I love salsa dancing. Pre-COVID days, I was doing a lot of salsa dancing, and salsa actually led me or gave me the ability to travel more. So to different events all over the U.S. and then some international. So those are my major loves. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. I'm intrigued by what you do, and more importantly, what you have done in the past couple of months. We'll get to that in a second. But I'm just fascinated by you. And I like to start these Heart Works with, of course, the introduction and then the how did we meet thing. So I know so many people that I sometimes forget where we all met. So I just tell people that I went to high school with everybody. I'm like, yeah, we went to high school together. No, and good and well, we didn't go no high school, but I can't keep all the stories straight.
Right.
So how did we actually meet and end up connected?
It was Kimberly Campbell, a Pilates yoga instructor that had I think it was just her idea for bringing a group of like-minded women together and to just help each other as far as network, business info, just daily info, sort of stress. We met like once a week, Saturday mornings,
Yeah.
and was talking. It was really, what did it start? Maybe April or May of 2020.
Last year, right in when the pandemic was still
Right.
fresh and new.
Yeah. So in the house and zooming our lives away. We zoomed too a little more, but it was relaxed. We were on for what, like a couple hours?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
talking shit and laughing and inspiring each other. And all of you guys are close together, so I felt a little bit left out down here, but y'all have been really cool with supporting me and encouraging me. So I'm glad we met.
Yeah. So yeah, you're further away. I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm in the DC area, Washington, DC. Well, I'm in Maryland, but about half hour from Washington, DC. That's shut down right now, kind of, sort of
So
shut.
are you still working from home with your physical therapy practice, or you go to your practice?
So we never closed.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I work for it's a large company. They have outpatient offices, they have hospitals, nursing homes. We just, there were weeks that maybe I just work 2 days a week, or maybe I work 3 days a week, and we just didn't have as many patients.
Yeah.
April, May, June, but we stayed open the whole time.
Okay.
So yeah, so I work there with other in Maryland with it's a small clinic. There's two other physical therapists, one two front desk um, people that take care of all that and help us out. And so I do my physical therapy thing there, as well as I incorporate Pilates exercises and sometimes rehab dance into my patients program if they like dance. I mean, I don't force it on them, but it's hard
Yeah.
when the radio's going and they're working on their balance. And I'll say, okay, let's try to two-step. Or did you dance before your knee replacement? And if they did, like, yeah, I dance, like, oh, okay. Well, come on, let's do a two-step because that's balance, you have to shift your weight, you have to pick up one foot, you have to stay on that one foot. And if you're really working on beat, and then you have to, you can't just kind of go quickly on the other side. You gotta one, the other, and one. So yeah, so it gets fun. I do love my job. So and it's nice I can incorporate it all together.
So, okay, speaking of incorporating, how did you go from physical therapy to Pilates to yoga to well, let's start with the physical therapy to Pilates first, because you have, what's your website? Kiva Pilates?
Well, Keva Price Pilates,
Kiva
yeah.
Price Pilates.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I started as a physical therapist I graduated in 2000, and I was maybe working about 2 years outpatient office, and we have to do continuing education.
Hmm.
And so there was a brochure for Pilates certification on my boss's desk. And I saw just the poses, like some teaser and everything. And I thought, oh, wow, that looks like, well, to me, it looked like dance. They weren't, obviously moving, but the pointed toes and the lines and just the beauty of their positions and their form made me think of dance. And I thought, oh, what is this thing I hadn't really heard of much, early 2000s? Actually, I heard of it once at a ballet. Well, I don't know if everyone knows ballets. It's an old gym that
We
had
know Bally's. Some of us old school, we know Bally's.
that had a old there's a flyer. It's an old gym, but there was a flyer that had Pilates on it. Circa this was like 2000, maybe 2001, and I was calling it Pilates because I'd never heard of it. When I pronounced it in my very American English, I should say, um, mind and grammar and everything, I thought pilates, which, was wrong. Pilates named after Joseph Pilates, that
Yeah.
actual person. And so anyway, I saw that brochure on my boss's desk and I thought, oh, it's cool. I can get continuing education credit. And they paid for it at the time. It was
Oh.
actually kind of pricey. So I was nervous as this kind of new graduate then in 2002, maybe. They're going to pay for this much. And they did. And so I did the MAT certification with it's Professional Health and Fitness Institute.
Mhm.
Um, it's a group that certifies health professionals in Pilates and a few other type of movement certifications. And then I also did the equipment certifications through them. And yeah, it was great. But at the time I was still working in a outpatient office. And
Okay.
new grad, you talk to other friends and family, ask you about, benefits. You got to have a good, good stable job. I wasn't thinking of going off and doing my own thing and Pilates and PT or anything. So it took quite a few years of thinking about wanting to do my own thing until maybe a couple years ago that I really got serious into it.
So so I remember learning about Joseph Pilates years ago when I was going through physical therapy for my shoulder.
Oh,
So the physical therapist, when I was in the military, told me that I should do Pilates and gave me a brochure that said,
okay.
hey, in order for you to understand, because a lot of the movement, I guess a lot of the movement is similar with the Pilates and the physical therapy in order to get your strength and your balance back. That was the big thing, because if you look at my shoulders now, you can see one shoulder is a little higher than the other one. So, he was like, we need to get that a little bit more even out, get your equilibrium and your balance. It was kind of the first time I had learned. This is before I started teaching yoga, before I started going into that. So how did you find that it was easy to transition into Pilates because of your physical therapy background?
Yeah, really. And I'm realizing it more and more as I'm now teaching more. Earlier on, I wasn't teaching as much, but with Pilates, there's 6 Pilates principles, and a lot of them, things like, well, I'll kind of rattle them off real quick, but things like breathing, which in physical therapy, if you're working, really anywhere, but we'll target like shoulders and back. If you're not allowing your rib cage to completely expand and then expand and contract, then you're not getting the movement in through the ribs and through the muscles in between the ribs. Maybe your clavicles, collarbones aren't moving the way they should if you have these shallow breathing. So learning how to breathe is great. A lot of us probably don't breathe so great. Concentration on a movement versus just doing something like throwing your leg up in the air. You have to like think about the movement so that
I
you
ain't
don't.
thrown my leg up in the air in a long time, child. That's a whole nother conversation.
Well, yeah, but even so, any movement, everyday activities, or sport activities, or
Yeah.
just life adulting activities, yeah, you may need to be a little more conscious, aware, concentrate on the movement. And then really a lot of people think about Pilates as the core or centering, which yes, you need to find that center, your ideally your neutral position.
Hmm.
Just being aware of that can help with back pain, um, proper lifting, all of that plays a part. The control of a movement, again, not just tossing the leg up there, because more control, the more you're using those muscles that you want to use. And then there's being fluid, which takes me back to thinking like a dancer, but
Hmm.
herky jerky kind of movements in everyday life can also be more prone to injuries.
Yeah.
And then the last, precision. So doing a movement kind of precise and not just quickly and without much thought is important. So those principles of Pilates really are used in physical therapy, but not specifically always like taught in PT school, or when
Hmm.
you talk to your patient. It's nice to kind of give them a reason of why they're doing this exercise, or why do I have to breathe while I'm lifting the weight? Well, there's lots of reasons. So yeah, I found they were easy to put together, and that
Hmm.
a lot of the um a lot of the Pilates instructors that have been teaching for a good amount of time and that have had a great mentors and work with a lot of bodies, shapes, sizes, injury levels. They really give great verbal cues to help people. I think a lot of physical therapists could benefit from listening to how some Pilates instructors may guide people through exercises or cue people. Um, so that's another reason why there's um, physical there's a good amount of physical therapists that are also Pilates instructors too, because it
Yeah.
works together. I mean, maybe also yoga. I haven't really
Yeah, one of my
tried
homegirls is who's
yoga.
going to come on is a physical therapist, and she's also a yoga teacher. And I think it's a similar thing. A lot of the principles in, yoga, they go hand in hand. As a matter of fact, the first time I've never been to a Pilates class, but I used to see the Pilates class when I would be going to my yoga class. And some of the movements are very similar to yoga.
Yeah, so yeah, and it's true. Yoga. So now I don't know the whole history of Joseph and yoga, but he was a big fan of gymnastics and calisthenics, which, who knows? Yoga's been around for so long that a lot of the old school gymnasts probably were doing some sort of stretches. Joseph may have been like, I can kind of put my own little twist on that. He called his work contrology. He wasn't like, I'm just gonna name it myself when he was doing it. But it definitely is for everybody, because that's another thing that sometimes people are like, oh, I need to work out more before I go take a Pilates class, or I need to
Yeah,
get fit
yeah,
before
yeah.
I take the class, or oh, my body looks a little different than this person that's in the picture, and they're geared away from it. So um, yeah, so
I,
that's
I get a lot of people who will say, "Well, I'm real stiff. I need to get flexible before I can come to yoga." Ma'am, that's not no, that's not how it works. How about we do that the other way around? You come on the class, and
Mhm.
then we'll help loosen you up and help you kind of get into whatever your groove is. So I imagine it's something similar with Pilates. Is Pilates as well known as yoga? I think the only reason why I know about it is because I've always kind of been in the fitness and wellness world, so I'm familiar with.
I still will get like patients, physical therapy patients of mine that'll say, "Oh yeah, what's that Pilates? It's yoga, right?"
Yeah.
So that's another. I definitely hear that a lot. I did a little Instagram live with a yoga instructor. That's kind of the thing we did. Like, what are the myths of yoga? What are the myths of Pilates? The definition of both, kind of thing. But yeah, I would still say it's probably not.
Hmm.
I mean, we still say things like the yoga mat
Yeah.
when, yeah, you could do push-ups on your mat too. Also
Right. Right.
push-up mat or the plain old stretch mat or Pilates mat. Maybe the Pilates instructors do, but I'll find myself saying, maybe not in class, but where'd you get your yoga mat from? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not as popular, but more and more people now have it's getting I feel like it's getting more notoriety recently.
So is your community pretty diverse? Is your Pilates community? Because I find that I see a lot of Black yoga teachers when I go to the Black cities or when I go to the Black yoga teacher conference. So do you find that there's a lot of Pilates instructors in your area? And you're in that DMV area, so I don't think that's a fair question because this is nothing but chocolate city up there.
Mm, well, we're definitely becoming more diverse in our area. Um, because yeah, I was actually just talking to a patient of mine that it's in her late 70s. She grew up in DC, and she was saying how back then it was really small, and of course there was segregation then, but it wasn't as diverse obviously than it is now. The ratios are changing quite a bit. But as far as a lot of Black Pilates instructors, um, I wouldn't say there's a lot, but I know of, I mean, there's some groups. I've gone to a conference, Black Women's Pilates, Black Girl Pilates group, as well as one for instructors, one for people that are starting and doing Pilates, like students. Um, but it's not something that's like, that you would see like regularly on a like Google shared sort of um, online newspaper or something, like just a random Pilates teacher usually isn't that diverse when you see a lot of the like ads and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, and like, other sports or upset sports, but other things you may see it differently. But yeah, we're working actually throughout this, or last year, we were really working with some of the big Pilates groups to get that diversity in there a little bit. And a lot of the people that I know, Black women Pilates instructors, they made some strides in
Yeah.
getting more diversity. Definitely, more racial diversity, more size diversity is a big thing. Even more men, men of any shape, size, race too. It's not as popular for men.
Yeah.
Even though I had a great private with a golfer guy he's stiff. I think he said he started to play golf maybe in his 40s, maybe 30s. But he was always kind of a stiffer, guy.
Yeah.
And but he really has benefited a lot from Pilates. And like I have to say, like a lot of the men that I talk to that do Pilates, it was their wife, his wife or girlfriend, some female gets the guys into it.
Yeah, of course. As like just with yoga and everything else, it's the
Mhm.
girlfriend, wife or whomever. What about physical therapists? Like you're only the second black female that I know. I know that's a physical therapist. And is it fascinating to me because you guys have a doctorate, right? Aren't you guys doctors of physical therapy?
So yes, now that is the degree that you receive once you finish the 3 years. I'm in kind of that mid group. So early on, there was a 5 years bachelor's degree that you have, and then mid 90s, I believe. It might be a little bit later. That's where the master's program came in. So I'm in that group. I have a master's. It was 3 years after undergrad, and then more recently, well, I would say maybe about 2010s. That's when the DPT, Doctor of Physical Therapy, came about. It's also 3 years after undergrad.
Okay.
They have a little more, they have more focus on more research, more evidence-based teachings. And then there's also things like residencies in
Hmm.
physical therapy now. Mhm.
You still, I still only know two of y'all. So,
So I think the reason why I know more, maybe because I am a Black
because
female,
you are one.
and then also Howard University is a big. Now I went to University of Maryland Eastern Shore,
Okay.
Hawks, which is also ECU, but Howard is probably one of the bigger known physical therapy schools in this, in our area in DC. So a lot of the PTs I meet that are African American are um, a lot went to Howard.
Okay.
So yeah.
Again, the benefit of you being where you are.
Yeah, and probably, I mean, there's a couple other, there's only a handful of other schools right in our area, which I say a handful. Some areas may just have one for like hundreds of miles, but there's Howard, there's University of Maryland at Baltimore, like in the city, which is
Mm.
maybe 45 minutes between the two campuses, and then there's um, George Washington, right in the center of DC, so pretty close
Does
to
that wash you?
GW, George Washington.
OGW, okay.
GW, yeah. And then a school named called Marymount, which is in Northern Virginia. So all of those really are within an hour's drive of each other. And then Eastern Shore, where I went, it's like 2.5 hours. So we have a good deal of, if you're in the area and you want to stay in the area to go to physical therapy school, you could. Yeah.
So how did you end up in physical therapy school even? Like how'd you end up down that route as opposed to something more physical, like maybe dance or some fitness or something like that?
Yeah, I'd always had small injuries, or I shouldn't say injuries, just aches, pains, issues, like I may say, like shoulder issue, wrist issue. This is in high school. I used to dance also as a kid.
Hmm.
So I guess,
Like ballerina or
yeah, ballet, tap, jazz.
okay.
And then I cheered in high school and college. So, and I was a pom for 2 years and I cheered for the rest of the year. So I had the opportunity to have some issues, but never anything major. I'm one of those extra kind of flexible kind of people on my
Mm.
shoulders and some of my joints. So that caused me some issues, or causes me some issues that I'm still working on now. But my mom had actually mentioned the career to me. She had physical therapy when she was before I was born, actually. And she was like, "Yeah, I should look into it." I really didn't know anything about it
Yeah.
until I got to looked into it and realized it was, something I like to do, kind of fit my personality. I like being around people. I like seeing people, obviously, sounds cliche, but seeing people get better. But really, I'm fine touching people and being in close proximity. I'm not one that wants to sit in an office all day and just do my work and give me the work and do it. So that helped out, and you needed to have a good, yeah, you have a pretty good GPA for math and science, and I was already there, so I was like, yeah, let me try it. And so where I went, you could do 3 years undergrad and then go into physical therapy school, the
Oh,
3 years of PT
okay.
school. So I kind of saved a year, which is nice. Um, and I was able to use my undergrad scholarship for part of my grad school. So that helped a lot.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping that some people who are watching can learn about either physical therapy or Pilates and just kind of look into it and figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. So if anyone's interested, I love sharing information. So, going to PT school, interested in going to a physical therapist, want to know what to expect kind of thing, yeah, you can always feel free to shoot me a message. I guess you can put my info at the bottom. Yeah, I like to talk about movement and dance, other other big topic too.
And so I want to get to the dance
Oh,
part in a minute because that's what I'm most excited about.
mm,
That's when I was like, oh, I got to get her on heart work. Oh my God, I'm so excited. But before we do that, I want to talk about how your 2020 went because when we started our Zooms that we were doing with the ladies on Saturdays, it was relatively new. The pandemic was relatively new, and we were all kind of working from home or part-time or whatever. How was your 2020? Was it because you were still going to the clinic? Did you have that much of a significant year?
yeah, I didn't feel, as far as work, I actually kind of the time that I wasn't working was helpful for my body, actually kind of healing. I have some back issues that I working on for the past actually couple of years. I've seen a physical therapist myself, and the decrease in like the standing and getting more sleep really helped. I mean, having a couple days off during the week. Luckily, I had a lot of time off.
Yeah.
So I used my time off when I wasn't working to still get paid. So that was helpful. I didn't, have to lose work. And then being more comfortable doing Zoom, because I did Zoom through Pilates at the studio that I work for, and Pilates Center of Rockville, and um, Black owned, female.
Okay, say that again. Wait a minute, black on female. Say it
Yeah,
again. What is it now?
Pilates Center of Rockville.
Okay.
Well, it's in Maryland, yes, but we also do virtual classes.
Nice.
So there's virtual classes, workshops. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So because so we did that and okay, Zoom and okay, trying to see the people on the screen, telling them move their cameras around and all that good stuff. I thought, I could maybe do this a little bit, maybe an hour on my own and see how it works. I don't really have clients, but I can put it out there on Instagram, Facebook, and see if anyone's interested. And so I started, building that. That's kind of what I'm doing now. And then so with 2020, that part of it was okay work wise. I was working. We were shut down for, I don't know, maybe it was 2 months, I think. So we didn't have in-person Pilates, but so the Pilates studio was shut down, but physical therapy work continued,
Okay.
even though I could be further away from my Pilates students than I am with physical therapy clients. So it kind of didn't, really, as far as safety wise for clients and myself, it didn't, it was more of what I'm, doing now was probably worse in close proximity. But because we did the Zooming there, Zooming at home felt okay.
Yeah.
And then probably the biggest difference was the fact that I wasn't dancing, because
Hmm.
I dance socially. I mean, I dance in a dance team as well. So I didn't have that practice twice a week. I loved it, but maybe I did need the rest. Uh, I,
Okay.
I think that was a big thing with 2020, where if you were still able to work, but life was different, that this place was closed, or you couldn't do this, or you didn't have these other maybe responsibilities, then that was a time for me to just, okay, even though I like this thing, I need to just like take a step back and relax and go home at 7 o'clock, as opposed to going to dance practice from 8 to 10:30.
Hmm.
Um, so that was good for my body. And then social dancing, which I still miss. In this area, we're not social dancing. Some areas I've heard down south, they're still having socials, I guess with masks, but they're usually in these small dance studios.
Yeah.
And the whole love of it is that there's lots of people.
Yeah.
You want everybody to come, and you're touching everybody, and then you're breathing heavy and you're spinning around. I mean, I probably couldn't even count how many times I've been like hit in the face with like some sweaty hair, or just a random like, oh, what was that? But I was good pre-COVID, without getting sick, just taking the normal pre-COVID precautions, washing my
Yeah.
hands when I left um, places, and just not touching my face when I'm there, which I think everyone should have been doing pre-COVID anyway.
That's a whole nother conversation, child.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's probably the major difference of my life, really. And then traveling,
Oh yeah.
because we traveled for the congresses and just like big events. And again, they're in like hotels, big ballrooms. And so we would stay in, like, my girlfriends and I, we'd stay four in a room. So it was pretty normal to be like, really in close proximity to people. And that was the life I had pre-COVID.
Yeah, I know a lot of people miss everything social, of course.
Mhm.
But I find that there's a good number of us who really needed to sit down somewhere. Like I remember when I had to start working from home, and we went to part-time hours as opposed to full-time hours. I needed that rest. I needed to just, like I said, sit down somewhere because I'd be in them streets, child. I'd be all over the place. And sometimes it's easy to let the universe tell you to sit down than for you to do it on your own. Because had COVID not happened, you probably would have still continued to do your, dancing and competition, whatever it is that you were doing.
Yeah, and that's something that I think I hadn't really realized. Well, I had, but I still liked it so much, loved it so much, that it was like, oh, I don't want to
Yeah.
stop this. I I'll miss it, but I think, and that could be with life. Like you talk about the struggles people are having,
Yeah.
um, maybe with COVID, but just even pre-COVID, just you need to listen to your body. I think that's probably like a take home. Listen to your body more. And whether that's like, you're pushing through not getting enough sleep, staying anxious with like stress and anxiety kind of always heighten this kind of feeling and sense where, maybe you need to just go into a room at 2 o'clock and close the door, even if you have this deadline or whatever. So you can just take a couple breaths and just like, clear your mind. Maybe if you could go to the bathroom and scream, I don't know. But there's so much that stress can build, obviously like physically and mentally, that I think that's kind of a big point that a lot of us don't realize. And we'll say, oh, I'm so stressed, but not realize like how much it affects your body. Uh,
Yeah. And
yeah,
we hold our stress in different places, which is why I think things like physical therapy, Pilates, yoga, dance, movement is so important. Because if you hold your stress here, or here, or in your back, I hold my stress in my shoulders and in my back.
right.
um so I think it's so important for us to know when it's time to sit down somewhere, and to know when it's time to move the body. But I want to tell you what made me reach out to you. I was scrolling through social media. This was maybe a month ago. Maybe a month ago. I was scrolling through social media, and my Facebook on my phone, if you look at the video, even if you're scrolling, it'll do a clip of the video in action. You don't have to pause or unpause it. So there was a video of you just with this big old smile on your face, doing something. I don't know what you were doing. You were like,
Must have been, oh, that's probably the shoulder dance party choreo.
I said, "Man." Yeah, yeah. I said, "Ooh," and then lean back. I said, look at her. She is. And then I saw the,
That much of it. That's crazy.
huh?
You remembered that much of it.
Oh, child, I
That's
love to
what
dance
you're
now.
scrolling. Yeah, just okay.
Oh, because I saw it and I was like, let me go back and look at this, because
Oh,
you look so happy. Like you just had so much joy on your face when you were, and it didn't look like a fake smile, because I can tell a fake smile. Somebody's like,
yeah, I used to have to do the fake. Well, I started off with only knowing the fake smile. I have
really? No,
the
you just
whole,
looked so
I mean,
into it.
when I say started off, I mean like at 8 or 6.
Yeah, when you were doing your childhood dance and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, there's a
Well,
video
now,
there too. I have a old school 1984 tap dance little clip on my Instagram.
oh,
I'll send it to you.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go back and look at. I'm gonna go to. I'm on you. I'm following you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Find it and comment.
But
But when I saw
yeah,
that,
it
I
was
was like, oh, look at her having fun.
yeah, it was a fun. I mean, it kind of takes me back to my cheerleading days. And kind of the whole thought of this, they're called Choreopils, choreo for choreography, but I made it
K for,
start with a
K
K.
for Kiva, right?
Kiva, yeah. And then pill for Pilates, because I was working to kind of incorporate Pilates base. So they're not traditional Pilates exercises in them. And then it's a small, I call it a movement piece. So it's like a minute long, short. I mean, you may not need a lot of dance experience for it. Maybe a little would be helpful.
Bam,
Depends
bam.
on it depends on the ones I've done.
Okay, because I was about to say I've seen a couple of them where I'm like, oh, she think this is the Dance Academy of DC or something. Like, what
But
is
so
it?
my thought though was to have that as like the movement piece. But when I teach it, I could teach it in a class at different levels if if I see that the class is a different level.
Hmm.
And then it focuses on a particular area. So the one you're talking about, like I said, it's good. You remember a lot of the parts. It's what I call shoulder dance party. And so the movements have to work on some mobility of the rotator cuff, and then also strengthening. So even though, so this movement isn't like
So
you
this is actually
know, hard,
functional.
but yes, but you can also carry this movement over to exercise wise. If you're on all fours, I could do a quick demo. If you're on all fours, you need to And if you're wanting to do a push-up, you're not going to sink down like this, or if you're, I should go on the whole push-up, you don't want to sink down like that. You want to push up so your shoulder blades are opening apart. And even though my hands are on the ground, that's the same movement as I did in the Khoreopil. And I'm also moving my body too. And then just having the mobility to have a part where it's like do here, up, down, where, can you reach into this movement here? Can you touch your one shoulder is definitely more mobile than the other.
Yeah, I can do it this way.
Yeah.
I can't do it this way. But again, being in the military and I was in physical therapy for this shoulder because, they don't teach us the proper way to do push-ups in the military. We just, I had to bust out 100 push-ups, not the proper way. I was have to do them real fast. So it wasn't until I got out of the military that I learned the proper posture for doing a push-up.
Right. And then, and that's a whole nother story, which I would love to actually know some of the research on. Like, what's the reason that you're doing 100s? Because y'all were doing it since 1945, and that's the number.
We'll ask some of my
my
military people who are watching.
Yeah, is it so PT is really big at looking at like evidence-based rehab, right? So what does 100 push-ups fast without good form tell you about the soldier? Can they hold a gun? Can they shoot, and run? Say that, I'm very civilian, so I don't know. But
the way
I love the
you answer the
uncles.
question, I feel like I'm very civilian too. I'm like, I don't know.
That's my thought. Like, why do it if there's not like a follow through reason that carries over through? This is the best soldier that could do 100 versus, oh, you're not good. You can only do 20 really good ones. I take the 20 good ones.
Yeah.
100 bad ones, but I don't know.
Well, obviously, you never had to do PT in the military, so.
Right. Yeah, right. So, but functionally, so that's the push-ups, but then the reaching behind the back. Well, if I have a patient that has shoulder surgery, reaching behind your back, that's one of the things that you really, maybe not all the way up, but think about just going to the bathroom and, cleaning back there or just getting back there after you go. If you're right-handed, that's the shoulder, you had the surgery, either you just try to use your left from now on, or you figure out, you learn the mobility, the movements of how to get that right one back there so you can clean and wipe yourself. Those are like the basic, this would be like, post-surgery, all the way to the person that is trying to do these, I don't know, if you're a gymnast or some sort of, a dancer or someone that has to have a lot of mobility through the shoulder through there. So that's my whole thought was that, you have a particular area. That was my shoulder one. I have one for the lower body called the walk, and and so I make the music too, the beats, not like Dre, but I make the beats through this app. And my most recent one is this kind of aliens are landing kind of sound. So I call it's for spinal mobility, side bending and twisting and everything. And I call it Unwind Your Spine. Aliens are coming, because it has
okay, I was confused. I was so confused. I was like, why is this called Aliens Are Coming? Because I just don't get it.
Yeah, but the music sounds kind of crazy, like
the music. Okay.
Yeah. So kind of having fun with it. I've gotten some good responses. In my class, I've had some people that have liked doing it. I don't really teach the choreo a lot in my class. I exercises that are based from it.
Got it. So I also like the one on the stairs.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I was just in love with the one when you were coming down the stairs, and I was like, is this helping me with my balance, or am I just having fun?
So yeah, working on your balance. When I'm just on the floor, you have to stand on the one foot for a while. So I hadn't done this in a while. I timed myself for how long I could stand on one foot. It was like 3 minutes and 17 seconds or 47 seconds or something like that. But the whole idea of basically, you don't need to necessarily just stay on one foot for, long periods of time. But when you're going downstairs, when you're walking, when you're trying to run around or move around, a little kid out of your way or a dog jumps in front of you, you have to have that moment where you're standing on the one foot. So you need all the muscles through the ankle, the calf, the hips in order to keep you, nice and stable and balanced. And so on the functional part of it, it's for ankle stability, ankle strength, um, for maybe elderly or someone that has some balance issues, try to prevent falls, all the way to like well, I don't have any professional dancers in my class, but if they were working on someone that's maybe needs the strength to be on point, so that was the, yeah. And so the filming of it, I do on my own. I had one great, um, actually producer and person that filmed on the shoulder, the one outside the shoulder dance party. I had someone did,
Yeah.
but the editing I do myself. Most of the filming I do, and then
Who's guiding us? Who's telling us what moves to do and
oh, so I have a
are you
second.
doing that?
Yeah, so I have a second video for that shoulder dance part where I break down and counts, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So I've been doing, it's really 3 videos. So on my YouTube channel, I have like the 3 videos. Yeah. And my goal is just trying
Well,
to,
that's why I remember it, because I was watching the one where you're telling me what to do. So I'm like, oh, okay.
okay. So
One,
you,
two,
okay.
3, 4. Like,
Slow it
okay.
down. Yo, that's good. You must have been watching it like this morning, not this morning. You were,
No, it wasn't this morning. It was when I reached out to you. It was like last week.
yeah. So yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it a couple times, child. Now I watched it a few times, and then I sat back and watched you do it a few times. I'm like, oh, look at her. She looks so good.
Okay, so that's encouraging because I haven't had anyone tell me. There's one Pilates instructor. Oh, shout out to Pilates Bar and Jams in Oakland, California. She's also a Black Pilates instructor. Um, she said she was going to do it, and I said, okay, well, send me the video. So
So I want to challenge anybody who's watching to
yeah.
go to Kiva's page, go to the YouTube page or the Instagram and pick one of the videos and just see, because I didn't even think about it being functional. I was just like, she teaching us the whole routine. This looks fun.
Good.
So the fact that it's functional and fun, I think that's what really attracted me to it. I was like, okay, this is a class that I would go to. I would want to go to this class so that at the end of my 8 weeks, I could do a whole dance routine.
Yeah, so my goal as far as making the Khoreopil, so I guess the first quarter of the year, I'm trying to get in 20. Well, I've already started last year, so I'm on 5 now. I'm on 5, and I mean, it would be great to have it as a, sort of a series. You can pick I mean, I have the different areas so that, you can get your whole body into a bit of a workout. And I mean, I could definitely make the choreography simpler if people need be, because ideally when I'm doing the choreography, like practicing it, it can be a little cardio. I definitely do less cardio these days. So maybe that's just because I've been doing less that I'm like, whew, I'm tired. Okay, let me do this again. Because my filmer also sometimes, um, he'll give me feedback. My dance partner, um, in salsa that I competed with, um, he gives me lots of feedback. So that's been great.
Well, I think it's great. And it could be cardio because, like I said, when I was doing it, I had to move. I had to really do it a different way. So I had to make sure that and I got to say this, your posture is really fabulous. Like
Oh,
your posture, I feel like just by looking at you, you're looking at me and telling me to sit up straight and pull my shoulders back and, get in alignment.
I try to be aware of it more and more. I mean, I've had my own um, low back issue, which I think it's mostly because of my extra mobility in my joints, extra looseness
Yeah,
in my joints, and that's something that I really had to be more mindful of. I have to.
yeah,
Oh, the big thing for 2020. I've been doing a lot more Pilates because I'm doing the movements virtually. I mean, I'll sit and watch them, okay, but a lot of times I'm doing it and watching Miss Jones. So
yeah,
with me doing so many more hours, not all the time, but I teach about 10 to 12 hours a week now. And I don't do every hour, but a good portion of it. That I think has really made a difference in my um, looseness issue through my back and
hmm,
SI joint. I went to see a PT in 2019, actually, end of 2019. And so I was working on it myself. Hashtag PTs need PT. Actually, look, that is a hashtag. And I really needed to work with it on myself, on my own. I needed help to work on it. Uh-oh, I think your screen, oh, okay. Your screen was frozen for a second, I think.
yeah. I keep falling off the internet, child. I don't know what's going on over here.
But yeah, so I realized I needed help. I was saying, yeah, physical therapists need physical therapy too. I saw there was a hashtag. And doing the amount of Pilates I did, I probably would not have done that much if I were teaching non-virtually, because
Got it.
you're in the studio, you're on the client's on the equipment, and so I'm there cueing them, as opposed to we both have mats and then I'm showing them and I, could give them a good kind of model. So that's definitely helped my own body, posture awareness. I definitely felt that a lot.
Well, you just look really strong. And like I said, I think what I was struck by in the Choreopil videos, because when I saw that the first one that I saw, then I had to go back and find the other ones to see
Mhm.
what I've been missing. And I was just like, you just look so joyful. I think that's one of my manifestation words for 2021 is joy. And so when I saw that smile, I was like, I can dance with her. She can be joyful, looking all cute, coming down the stairs with your chucks on. I said, okay.
Oh, thanks. No, I appreciate that. It's another. Well, I was talking with actually another Black Pilates instructor, and just talking about being having fun with yourself.
Yeah.
Meaning,
Well, child, I know all about having fun with myself, but that's probably not what you talk about. What you talk about?
you know, yeah, being able to, because of these times you're home, like if you live alone, um, looking in the mirror and smiling at yourself,
Yeah.
or I'm constantly like well, not telling myself jokes, but I'll say stuff out loud, even when I'm by myself, and it'll make me laugh. Like I'll laugh just at myself, which I don't think is crazy, but I have some friends that think that's a little wacky, but
I mean, it is
I'm sure
wacky, but who
it's
cares?
but yeah, and I realize some people don't do that, or just, they're so used to being with people around them when they aren't around as many people. Maybe it's because of COVID, or maybe it's because of some life change, divorce or breakup or something like that. Kid goes off to college, they're like, oh gosh, what do I do by
Yeah.
myself? Um,
I think I love the idea of just doing fun stuff. I was watching an Instagram video and MJ Harris literally, and he's in his 40s, and he has an 18-year-old nephew that lives with him, and they were playing hide and go seek in the house. And the nephew is 18, telling him, okay, go upstairs, I'ma hide. And they were genuinely playing hide and go seek. And I thought that was so fun and joyful.
it would help your spirit just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only played, well, I mean, as a kid, but as an adult, I've only played hide and go seek with the dogs.
Oh,
I've had
yeah,
dogs as a kid. That's really fun.
I
Like, you don't
bet.
realize how those dogs are with it. No, really, because I hide somewhere and then you hear, you know, or running around and tell the dog, go find so and so. And you can see them, they're so excited. It's
You
that
still have dogs?
adrenaline. No, not my own. My parents do have a dog. So I'll
Okay.
when I go over there, unfortunately, this is the only dog that I don't know, I feel like he forgets me. The other dogs,
Oh,
I would go away to college and come back, they were fine. Oh, they still love me. This one, wants to
could
eat me
care
up
less.
when I come over. No, wants to eat me up. But he's a
Oh,
chihuahua too, like a little,
oh, the little ratty dogs. I
typically a
call them the yappy dogs.
growly, my mom says. Oh, that's just the breed. He still loves you. Yeah.
We're not buying it. Well, honey child, I really appreciate you taking the time out to chat with me. Like I said, the fact that you created Choreopil and made it available for people like us who are just sitting home watching, I think is kind of badass. And the fact that you incorporated the things that you love the most, which is your Pilates and your dance, into something that everybody can enjoy and obviously brings you joy, I think is pretty impressive.
Well, thanks. Well, that's the idea. I mean, I love to hear like all the feedback, and I really appreciate that people are enjoying it, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah, I want my people to go and find a video and pick one and practice one of them and comment just so that you can get some more feedback about it.
Great.
So how can people find you on Instagram, Facebook, website?
Yeah, so right now it's all the social medias, Keva Price Pilates. And so that's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube channel. On the YouTube channel has you can see the different Choreopil breakdown of exercises and then the choreography with the K for Kiva. And I can put it down at the bottom of the in the comment section so you can easily get a little click there.
Good. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited to see the comments. My phone has been blowing up, child. Like, I don't know who's texting me, but
Oh,
somebody's watching because my phone has been blowing up. And I know there's a few comments down below. So, again, I just wanted to tell you, how proud of you I am because I know that the Choreo Pill, was a divine kind of inspiration for you. And I could tell that it brings you a lot of joy. I appreciate you taking the time
yeah.
to chat.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
And I want us to, it's very important for me, one, to recognize the people in my circle who are out, doing dope shit. And I say all the time, I have dope ass friends who are doing dope things. And I think sometimes we forget that there's people that look like you and me who are doing other things besides, dribbling a basketball. No shade against basketball players or sports guys and girls, but there's other types of outlets for our physical and emotional tension and stress. And I think getting through, 2020 and 2021, I want us to find our people and find our people who are serving the community. And the fact that you have this choreo pill out there, I think is just fabulous. So again, I appreciate you. I thank you for taking the time. You could have been anywhere in the whole world and you chose to hang out with me. And for that, I'm humbled and I'm honored and I'm truly grateful. I end all of my sessions and my yoga classes and everything else with a moment of gratitude and letting you know that the light and the beauty and the strength in me honors and recognizes and clearly sees the light and the beauty and the strength that is within you. Remember, for you and anybody who's watching, remember to think good thoughts and to say good words and to do good things. And until next Thursday's Heart Work, which is going to be at 8:30, I want to thank you guys and I will see y'all soon. Thank you again, Keva.
Yeah, thanks. I love to hear any comments people have for me, or anybody just wants to talk or even work with me if in the future.
Absolutely. I'm gonna be sending people your way. I'm gonna be telling them that y'all send them to we're gonna put your information down and we're gonna do all of that. The whole point is to give you exposure, to educate the people, and to bring a little bit of joy to Thursday night.
Great, great. Well,
So that's it, honey
again,
child. Thank you. You look lovely, by the way. I don't know if I said that. Just
oh, thank you.
girls is popping, looking all strong in the upper body. Listen,
I
look at her.
thought it was my little kid hairstyle, but I had it like this today. And sometimes with the hair, taking it down, it would be harder to get the quick change. So this is my I don't know, youthful hairdo,
I
curly do.
think we're doing the same thing. I got the bun on top and down in the back. So I get it.
Yeah,
It's out of the face and up. And if
yeah.
you got to do some movement, it's easy to move, but it's still cute.
Pulling that. Yeah.
But it's still cute and bouncy. I see them curls popping over there.
Thanks, thanks. All right.
But thanks again, honey child. This was fun. I appreciate you.
All right. You're welcome.
All right, child. Talk to you
Bye.
soon.
Bye.